I want to give a picture of Dublin so complete that if the city suddenly disappeared from Earth, I could reconstruct it out of my book.
Upon thy yellow hair, bid adieu, 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 adieu to girlish days. When thou hast heard his name upon the bugles of the cherubim, begin thou softly to unzone girlish bosom unto him, then softly to undo the snood that is the sign of maidenhood. Bid adieu, 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 adieu.
her head between his hands, then slipping one arm swiftly about her body and drawing him towards her. He said softly, "Greta, dear, what are you thinking about?" She did not answer, nor yield wholly to his arm. He said again softly, "Tell me what it is, Greta. I think I know what is the matter. Do I know?" She did not answer at once. Then she said in an outburst of tears, "Oh, I am thinking about that song, The Lass of Aughrim." She broke loose from him and ran to the bed, and throwing her arms around the bedwail, hid her face. Gabriel stood stock still for a moment in astonishment, and then followed her. As he passed in the way of the cheval mirror, he caught sight of himself in full length, his broad, well-filled shirt front, the face whose expression always puzzled him when he saw it in the mirror, and his glimmering, gold-rimmed eyeglasses. He halted a few paces from her and said, "What about the song? Why does it make you cry?" She raised her head from her arms and dried her eyes with the back of her hand like a child. A kinder note than he had intended went into his voice. "Why, Greta?" he asked. "I am thinking about that person long ago who used to sing that song." "And who was that person long ago?" asked Gabriel, smiling. "It was a person I used to know in Galway when I was living with my grandmother," she said. The smile passed away from Gabriel's face. A dull anger began to gather again in the back of his mind, and the dull fires of his lust began to glow angrily in his veins. "Someone you were in love with?" he asked, ironically. "It was a young boy I used to know," she answered, "named Michael Fury. He used to sing that song, The Lass of Aughrim. He was very delicate." Gabriel was silent. He did not wish to think that he was interested in this delicate boy. "I can see him so plainly," she said. After a moment, "such eyes as he had, big dark eyes, and such an expression in them, an expression." "Oh, then you were in love with him," said Gabriel. "I used to go walking with him," she said, "when I was in Galway." A thought flew across Gabriel's mind. "Perhaps that was why you wanted to go to Galway with that Ivors girl," he said coldly. She looked at him, and again in surprise. "What for?" Her eyes made Gabriel feel awkward. He shrugged his shoulders and said, "How do I know? To see him, perhaps." She looked away from him along the shaft of light towards the window in silence. "He is dead," she said at length. "He died when he was only 17. Isn't that a terrible thing, to die as young as that?" "What was he?" asked Gabriel, still ironically. "He was in the gasworks," she said. Gabriel felt humiliated by the failure of his irony and by the evocation of this figure from the dead, a boy in the gasworks. While he had been full of memories of their secret life together, full of tenderness and joy and desire, she had been comparing him in her mind with another. A shameful consciousness of his own person assailed him. He saw himself as a ludicrous figure, acting as a penny boy for his aunts, a nervous, well-meaning sentimentalist, orating to vulgarians and idealizing his own clownish lusts, the pitiable, fatuous fellow he had caught a glimpse of in the mirror. Instinctively, he turned his back more to the light, lest she might see the shame that burned upon his forehead. He tried to keep up his tone of cold interrogation, but his voice, when he spoke, was humble and indifferent. "I suppose you were in love with this Michael Fury, Greta," he said. "I was great with him at that time," she said. Her voice was veiled and sad. Gabriel, feeling now in vain it would be to try to lead her whither he had purposed, caressed one of her hands and said, almost sadly, "And what did he die of so young, Greta? Consumption, was it?" "I think he died for me," she answered.
between you and me. The rain, it falls on my yellow locks, and the dew, it wets my skin. My babe lies cool in my arms. Lord Gregory, let me in. Oh, Gregory, don't you remember that night upon the hill when we swapped rings off each other's hands, sorely against my will? Mine was of the beaten gold, yours it was but tin. Mine was of the beaten gold, yours it was of but tin. If you be the lass of Aughrim, as I suppose you to be, tell me the last token that passed between you and me.
And Gibraltar, as a girl, where I was a flower of the mountain, yes. When I put the rose in my hair like the Andalusian girls used. Or shall I wear red? Yes. And how he kissed me under the Moorish wall, and I thought, well him as another. And then I asked him with my eyes to ask again, yes. And then he asked me, would I? Yes. And to say yes, my mountain flower. And first I put my arms around him, yes. And drew him down to me so he could feel my breasts, all perfume, yes. And his heart was going like mad. And yes, I said, yes, I will, yes.
At the Literacy Project, we're all about hope. Hope for a better future for our students, for a better tomorrow. And James Joyce said, I am tomorrow or some future day, what I establish today. So one of our students at the Literacy Project said, the Literacy Project has given me back my tomorrows. We've given her a second chance at having a better future, a better tomorrow. And our students go on, once they have the high school diploma, they go on to community college, to job training programs, and to better jobs to support themselves and their families. One of our students from Northampton, Joe, said, all of my problems in life come from being undereducated. He said, I never knew that education also included art and poetry and literature. I never thought I'd be the person to look forward to Monday morning, to coming to school at the Literacy Project. Not only have I learned, but I've learned to love myself more. So we fall in love with learning, learning to love, and loving to learn at the Literacy Project. So please help us out tonight. go to www.literacyproject.org to make a donation so that we can provide laptops for our students. All of our classes now are online, and we can provide those laptops so our students can work from home and continue with their education to make a better tomorrow, to love learning and learn to love. Thank you so much.
How you doing? My name's Joseph Leopold. I'm here to talk to you today about the Literacy Project and what it means to me. You know, as a recent high school graduate from this program, I can't tell you how the things I've learned have changed my life. Doors open, arts, part of education, never knew it. I never knew that being a better steward of the community would come through my education of understanding of tolerance and inclusion and all these wonderful things. The friends I forged, the beautiful teachers that helped me endlessly, whether it was at night or in the morning, it didn't matter. The warm, welcoming environment they provided for me was unmatched with anything I ever experienced as a child. And yeah, I had to work hard and counted on my fellow students to help me too. But man, what a difference having an education means in my life alone. It's led me to do some wonderful things to help other people, help myself. You know what? I love myself a lot better. The kinder, gentler Joe is really alive and going well.
So they lived abroad, Paris, Trieste, moved around. And when they were flush with money, of course, then they lived well. When they weren't flush, they lived like anybody else, going between Paris, Trieste, ups and downs, just like any couple in the world. I'll let them tell you the story of this, all right? Let's hear about it all, Nora.
Nora Barnacle, say a prayer for Molly, Molly Bloom. Nora Barnacle, lonely Irish convent girl comes to Dublin. Ora pro nobis Nora, pray, pray, pray for the soul of Molly Bloom. Mother, father left behind, I sailed across a holy tide. When I made the drastic choice to run away with Jimmy Joyce, Dublin snobs did scoff and sneer. They said I'd wrecked his bright career. Instead, of course, I was his muse, a notion they would disabuse. Ora pro nobis Nora, pray, pray, pray for the soul of Molly Bloom. Said I could not read or write. That was not right. Acknowledged Her soul, it should be damned to hell for that slick way. But Nora, 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 you're the one who'll pay. Your reputation smashed to bits, an exile from the snobbery sea. Nora, 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 ooh, will you come to me? Mother, father left behind, I sailed across the holy tide. When I made the drastic choice to run away with Jimmy Joyce, Dublin stopped his muffins here. They said I wrecked his bright career. Instead of horse, I was his muse, a notion they would disabuse. Nora, always Nora, pray, pray, pray for the soul of Molly Blue. Nora, always Nora, Nora, always Nora, pray, pray, pray for the soul of Molly Blue. Nora, always Nora, Nora, always Nora, pray, pray, pray for the soul of Molly Blue.
Nora and James did not marry for 31 years after leaving Ireland. Living in sin was frowned upon in Europe, not just in Ireland. Because of their unstable financial situation, they lived in over 20 different locations in Europe, moving from apartment to apartment and country to country. The children, Lucia and Giorgio, were born in Trieste and Paris.
Living here in Paris, in Dublin, some conditions makes me think of Galway and the open sea. Living here in Paris, in Dublin, some conditions makes me think of Galway and the open sea. If exile is our mission, and one day we'll be famous, despite our poverty here in Paris.
Living here in Dublin, some conditions makes me think of Paris and its liberty. Living here in Dublin, some conditions makes me think of Paris and its liberty. If exile is your mission, then one day I'll be famous and live in liberty in Dublin. Living here in Galway, at home with my relations, makes me think of Paris, that is home to me. So I want you here beside me, beside me, beside me, with my family, despite our poverty here in Galway.
Living here in Trieste in 1907 makes me think of Lucia, the year that she was born. If exile is our mission, then one day, someday she'll be famous,
Dublin, slum conditions makes me think of Galway and the open sea.
Why is it that words like this seem dull and cold? Because they are not tender enough to be your name. Every life is many days, day after day after day. We walk through ourselves, meeting robbers, ghosts, giants, old men, young men, wives, widows, brothers in love, but always meeting ourselves. Writing in English is the most ingenious torture ever devised for sins committed in previous lives. The English reading public explains the reason why.
Happy Bloomsday. Hope you're enjoying some Guinness for Bloomsday. The song I'm going to do has a rousing chorus to it, so we need a lot of people singing along, but I don't see any around here. So while you're watching this video, you can sing the chorus at home or wherever you're watching it. Here are the words. Whack full the da. That's kind of Irish for la 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 or doobie doobie doo or something like that. Whack full the da. Now dance to your partner. Whack full the da, now dance to your partner. Then we have round the floor your trotters shake. Your trotters are your legs, so it means you're dancing. Whack full the da, now dance to your partner. Round the floor your trotters shake. Not much more. Wasn't it the truth I told ya? Sticky papers. Lots of fun at Finnegan's Wake. So, here's how it goes. Whack full the da, now dance to your partner. Round the floor your trotter shake. Wasn't it the truth I told ya? Lots of fun at Finnegan's Wake. So sing it real loud every time we get to the chorus, okay? Okay. Tim Finnegan lived on Walking Street, a gentle Irishman, mighty odd. He had a brogue, both rich and sweet, and to rise in the world he carried a hod. Now Tim had a sort of a tippler's way. With the love for the liquor, poor Tim was born. And to help him on his work each day, he'd a drop of the crayther every morn. Whack full the da, now dance to your partner. Around the floor your trotter shake. Wasn't it the truth I told you? Lots of fun at Finnegan's Wake. Well, one morning Tim got rather full. His head felt heavy, which made him shake. He fell from his ladder, and he broke his skull, dead. They carried him home, his corpse to wake. They rolled him out in a nice clean sheet, and they laid him out across the bed. A bucket of whiskey at his feet, and a barrel of porter at his head. Whack for the dog, and dance to your partner. Around the floor your trotter shake. Wasn't it the truth I told you? Lots of fun at Finnegan's Wake. His friends assembled at the wake, and Mrs. Finnegan called for lunch. Lunch! First she brought out tea and cake, then pipe, tobacco, and whiskey punch. And Billy O'Brien began to cry. Such a nice clean corpse did you ever see? Tim of Arnott, why did you die? Will you shut your gob, said Paddy McGee. Whack full the da, now dance to your partner. Round the floor your trotter shake. Wasn't it the truth I told you? Lots of fun at Finnegan's Wake. And Maggie O'Connor took up the job. Biddy, says she, you're wrong, I'm sure. Biddy gave her a belt in the gob and left her sprawling on the floor. Then Civil War did soon engage. 'Twas woman to woman and man to man. Shillelagh law was all the rage, and a row and a ruction soon began. Whack full the da, now dance to your partner. Around the floor your trotter shake. Wasn't it the truth I told you? Lots of fun at Finnegan's Wake. Mickey Maloney, he ducked his head when a bucket of whiskey flew at him. It missed, and landing on the bed, the whiskey splattered over Tim. He's the dead guy. Bedad, he revives, see how he rises. Timothy rising from the dead, saying, whittle your whiskey round like blazes. Thunder and Jesus, do you think I'm dead? Whack for the dart out next to your partner, around the floor your trotter shake.